When you started talking about elevate, I was thinking, oh, that's interesting, because I was getting into this whole elevation thing, and I was talking about the 4 levels of elevation,
Right.
from intellectual elevation,
Yeah.
looking after yourself physically, physical elevation,
Yeah.
and then the spiritual elevation,
Yeah.
and then emotional elevation,
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you have that confluence of those 4 and what type of leader you can become, but not only what type of leader you can become, how you can then extend it to other people, and elevate other people.
We had a conversation today about what hat do you want to leave on the table.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting one. And I kind of know what I want to leave behind.
Yes.
What I want to be remembered for, the kind of person, what's my avatar? So my avatar is sort of 3 key things.
Sure.
It's to inspire.
Yeah.
It's to connect, and it's compassion. But then he asked a question about what don't you want to be remembered for? And I thought, oh,
interesting.
That's an interesting one. I've never thought about what I don't want to be remembered for. And then it came to me. It actually, fortunately, when it just came to me, and I actually said, I don't want to be remembered for being unforgiving.
That's a really good one.
That's
a really good one.
I need to thrash that out for myself, right?
Yes.
I need to say...
Because I was about to say, what does it mean?
What does it mean, yeah.
But what does it mean for you?
So you started off by talking about, this thing of, you're an optimist, and you are,
yes.
and you're a 2 sides person.
Yeah.
You see both sides very easily. I'm black and white, right?
Yeah.
I have 2 sides, but they're black and white. My wife says, think about a little bit of gray. There's a little bit of gray. There's no gray. It's either right or it's wrong. That's it.
That's it.
And I'm comfortable with that position.
Sure.
I'm comfortable with believing that I have a stance on certain things. But what I need to add to my stance is the emotive reaction to it. So if I think something is wrong,
yes,
I tend to take you and the wrong and the bath and everything. It's out the window, right? And then I had to think a little bit more about that and go, okay, maybe that's not too bad. But if the person comes back, are you okay with that?
Yes.
And that's where I have to talk about being, I don't know what my stance is on that. Because I tend to be pretty, when I cut you off, I can turn around, walk, and I wouldn't even blink an eyelid, you know. So I need to assess, is that being unforgiving, or is that just growing, or is that moving to the next stage, or is that, where is that? So it's something I still need to work on.
It's a journey, right? As we grow, we change, we reflect, and we say, this is who I want to become. But I think part of it is about taking ownership of who we've been, so that we can shed some of that and grow some some new values.
That taking ownership of who you've been, I think, is integral to growing, isn't it?
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly. It's all about growing
and
embracing the new.
And embracing the new. And so I suppose it also starts with forgiving yourself, doesn't it?
You couldn't have put it better, Vic. And you have to learn how to forgive yourself. Because I think all too often you can put that across as a statement. But if a person does not know how to forgive themselves, it's a problem. In actual fact, I can say that about myself. For a while, I did not know how to do that.
Yeah.
And I had to learn.
Yeah.
So at times it takes something in your life, something that happens, where you have to learn how to forgive yourself. And it's priceless for every individual to find in themselves that the will, if I may say so, to say, to learn how to forgive themselves. Because, life is a journey full of mistakes.
It is, yeah.
And firstly, you need to recognize those mistakes. 2, after recognizing them, you need to take ownership of them. Because it's one thing to recognize them and say, okay, I see them, there they are. But, you got to say, I take ownership. That's me right there. So then you can then say, how do I shed those mistakes? And then I can move forward. And if you can forgive yourself, it becomes so much easier to forgive others.
You see, now, so
that's where I was heading to.
Yeah. No, you nailed it. Because, and the reason why that's important is because is because you always have underlying residual anger that resides about whatever it is that you are angry about.
Exactly.
Right? So why the heck did I make that mistake again?
Yes.
Why couldn't I see that coming? Right? Or what the hell was I thinking? Right? So that festers.
Yeah.
And anything associated with that, right? Once you've made the call to say this was absolute nonsense and I'm getting out.
Yeah.
Anything that's associated with that, it goes. It's like, right, that's it. You know. So yeah, you're right. You've got to kind of forgive. You forgive yourself, because it does make it easier to forgive others. So sometimes when you are angry about others, you just got to start looking at yourself.
Exactly. That's exactly it. You know. So you need to be able to distinguish between the two, but start with yourself. You know. Then it becomes so much easier, to the extent that everything that you do, the way you extend yourself to other people, the way you operate, you operate at the height of your sincerity, isn't it?